Action.
Action. Okay. Okay guys, welcome back to the WODdoc Project365, episode 7. What you see me just demonstrate there is the last of the faults that I want to address over this little series. We already went over the sinker, right? So that's where the guy doesn't necessarily get that proper hip hinge, doesn't load onto the glutes. They kind of just sink down into the squat, keep their torso very vertical. Then we went over the sloucher. That's the guy that has the great hip hinge, everything gets loaded correctly, but then they slouch at the bottom of the squat. Today, we're going to focus on the lower extremity, and we're going to talk about the lower extremity caver, or the knee caver. That's the guy who comes down onto the bottom of the squat, and whether when they start upwards, or even in the bottom, they kind of sink one knee in, or they cave one knee in, which we talked about earlier was like a recipe for orthopedic disaster, right? We have a whole bunch of different knee problems that can be associated with that, all that stuff. So today's fix, again, we're going to be using some bands today. For the third day in a row, we're going to do the same thing that we did the last 2 days. We want to get into a band, and we want to make the problem that we had, the fault that we had, worse, okay? Because that gives us the proprioceptive feedback to kind of push into it. So for instance, I just showed you a right leg fault where my right knee caved in. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get into the band. I'm going to set that up. I'm going to give myself some tension. So it's pushing my legs inward, okay? Now when I do that, I have that proprioceptive input. So now I have a feedback of how I want to push my knees out. I go ahead and I do that same squat. I get down in the bottom of that squat, and now I have some type of feedback that I'm pushing again. Boom. And I come right back out. Now, say I only want to do this with one leg. That's fine too. I can set the same way up. Now it's only on the leg that was the faulty leg, right? So I get down into my same squat pattern, and now I have something to push against as I come down into the squat, using that same reactive neuromuscular technique that we did from the last 2 days. So, our prescription from today is if you have that faulty knee cave, right, we're going to go ahead, do 50 of those squats with resetting. Down here on the bottom, reset, knees stay out, drive on up. Now, a question came into me the other day, is what happens if I have both of them, or all three of them? So we talked about the sinker, the sloucher, and now today the knee caver. That's fine. If you want to do that, if you have all three of those, bring that set and do, or bring those exercises all together and do one set of each. Okay, and another thing, guys, is when I say 50 squats, it's any type of rep and set scheme that you want. A great idea would be doing 5 sets of 10 or something like that. Until next time, guys, we're optimizing function to optimize performance.